A reaction from you, because you're a boxing fan too.
I'm actually devastated. I followed all his matches, and was really a great hero, and it's a legend that's gone. It'll be history, there'll be lots of books written on him.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe even some more films. You also remember that iconic movie that starred Will Smith, where he actually won an Oscar for portraying Ali.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's get into what you're here for this morning. Unfair practices related to credit lending. I know that the Credit Ombudsman is on a mission to educate people, but we still find a lot of people not 100% sure or even understand the credit issues related to their personal credit issues.
Yes. I think the landscape is changing a lot. There's a lot of new regulations coming in. There's affordability assessments that have tightened up a lot. There's new rates and interest rates and fees. There's new registration requirements for credit providers. And maybe on that point, previously the Act, if you had 100 credit agreements and did a turnover of more than 500,000, you had to register with the NCR. Now, even if you do zero, so everybody that lends money must register with the NCR, which is a positive step because when you register with the NCR, there's protection for the consumer, there's compliance with the National Credit Act. But things have changed. One of the things that have changed dramatically is the affordability assessment. To get credit now, you need to produce a lot of documentation, a lot of verification. You must produce at least, 3 months pay slips or 3 months bank statements indicating a deposit. There's proper verification in terms of they need to authenticate who you are. So it's making that a bit more difficult for people.
Yeah.
And the qualifying criteria has also been more stringent.
But how do we make sure that, not everybody plays by these rules, though, this new set of rules. There are still people that are being borrowed credit. There are still people whose bank cards are being taken, even though it's widely publicized. It is a lot of work that the Credit Ombudsman has done to educate people.
No, that does happen, but that is why the NCR wants to bring everybody under its net. It's probably those on the periphery that are doing that, but there are also some reputable companies that push their luck as well. And a case in point is the collection of prescribed debt. When a debt has passed 3 years, you may not collect on it at all. And we're finding more and more incidents of people collecting on prescribed debt.
So after 3 years, your debt falls away?
Completely. But in that 3-year period, there must be no interruption of the prescription. In other words, there must be no payment, there must be no inquiry, there mustn't be anything where you acknowledge the debt. If in that 3-year period there's anything that you do to indicate that you acknowledge the debt, then it interrupts the prescription.
And then it starts for 3 years
again. It starts again.
Let's talk about just some of the other things. You just brought out your annual credit report where you reflected back on the year that was, the amount of cases, the amount of success stories. What are some of the obvious cases that you think shouldn't be existing anymore but still does?
One of the most common things that we find is that people don't get statements. It's natural. It's supposed to be, the easiest thing. So we get a lot of complaints where I didn't receive my statement. Now, if you don't receive your statement, you don't know what to pay. You can't scrutinize the charges or whatever. And it's a basic one, which is quite common. Then we had lots of matters relating to garnishes. Then we have some fraudulent activity matters and also the prescription matters, So, those were the bulk of that took up our year. But incidentally, through our efforts, we saved consumers 7.5 million last year. And that's because some of the credit providers, they dabble in kind of reckless lending. And when it comes to our office and we do a full investigation, without acknowledging that it's reckless lending, they settle. We had one instance where one consumer got paid 450,000 Rand refund.
Wow.
So throughout the year, we managed to collect about 7.5 million, which is back in people's pocket, which they wouldn't have had.
Very quickly, people want to get hold of you. They think that there may be some fraudulent activity or related to any of the issues that you mentioned. Where can they go? I
think the best thing to do is to SMS us, 44786 or 08666 66137. But the easiest one is SMS us, 44786. We call you back and we'll be able to assist you, hopefully.
Credit Ombudsman Nicky Lala Mohan talking to us about unfair credit practice and some of the issues. Also, their annual credit report was released, and as Nicky mentioned, nearly 7.5 million given back to consumers, back into their pockets related to credit issues. We take a break, don't go anywhere.